Well, good evening, all my little cats and kittens out there. Bursty here for you tonight with a story, more or less. Tonight I actually want to talk about kitties. Now, I grew up in a household that was cat, not dog. Um, this was already predetermined before I was. In fact, this story starts off with our first kitty, the first one that I existed for. Her name was Sissy. She existed before I did and was part of our family. I grew up with a cat for about the first 5 years of my life. And her brother, to some extent, he kind of disappeared. He was an indoor-outdoor one, and at one time he just eventually wasn't there anymore. So, for the first 5 years-ish of my life, we had Sissy. Um, Now, it's one of those odd things that you have kind of a cold all the time, constantly blowing your nose, constantly having eyes watering for like 5 years of your life to really figure out you had a cat allergy. That was awesome. We went through so many facial tissues. I also figured out I was allergic to puffs. So I was allergic to one of the tissues that would be the most nice on your face. I was Kleenex brand kid because puffs actually made me sneeze worse. Had cat, make sneeze, have puffs, sneeze worse, get sore, vicious cycle. Things don't get better that way. Um, Now, Sissy had to be put down at some point because of question mark, don't remember, I was 5, feline issue. So she got put to sleep, unfortunately. But she did live a pretty good cat age, if I remember right. Again, 5-year-old doesn't remember everything. After that, at some point we had, as far as my sister and I are concerned, we had more than one of these. My mother swears it was only one, a yellow tabby cat named Muffin. Because in our minds, we had omnipresence of multiple Muffins having been in our possession. Muffin, I don't remember it being an indoor cat, really. Not so much. And I think it was when it was starting to be an indoor cat was when it disappeared. I think we gave it to an aunt or a neighbor or a friend or something because we remembered, oh yeah, our kid's allergic. And we should have also learned this too when we would visit Aunt Jane and Uncle Dick. They had a lot of cats inside the house, and well, I'd get there and like my eyes would practically swell shut. I'd be sneezing the entire time we're there. Like, oh great, yeah, family's being social, having fun. I'm busy dying in the living room, but I still want to pet the cat because I like the cat. Vicious cycle again. Good thing she didn't have puffs most of the time because it'd be even worse. Um, so Muffin came and went. And after that, it was a good long time before we had another cat, so I had time to recover. And as a, going from being little kid to late teenager, I guess I developed a little bit better. I wasn't as deathly ill against kitties anymore. And this is still relative because depending on the type of cat and the type of reaction I get, some cats give me more, some cats give me less. I'm not faking it any different for any cat. I love all you kitties out there. I will pet you all. I just like to breathe. It's a weird habit I have. I do it every day. I should cut out breathing. I hear it's very addictive. If you can, and hard to stop, but man, oh, air, you're so good. So in my high schoolish age, my sister, in her mighty wisdom, adopted a kitty that she found outside near a friend's house, who is named now Trixie. It was a white kitty with uh, black and gray spots. Oh, important thing, I must have missed saying this. Sissy, the original cat, was a black and white cat, mostly black with some white. So was her brother, who I can't remember the name of. Sorry for forgetting that, putting there. So we had this mostly white with splotchy black and gray bits. Trixie. She became an indoor cat immediately. No outdoors, period. It took a little adapting, but she got used to all of us pretty quickly. And that's a good thing, too, because she started to get a little chubby. A lot chubby. Very chubby. Oh, she met a boy kitty before she came to be our kitty, didn't she? Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Because very soon after that, we had a litter of little kitlets. Now, being a teenager, I was very excited by this process because um, I liked biology and stuff like that. So I felt the process of birth was interesting. So um, we paid attention where she was going towards for landing zones. We figured out when she was starting, and I took a lot of photos of all 5 kittens being born. 2 boys, similar patterning to her, and 3 girls, mostly black with some white on them, more similar to what Sissy looked like from when I was a little tiny person. So we decided um, not to name them all right away. They went by their numbers, 1 through 5. The 2 boys being 1, 2, and the 3 girls 3, 4, and 5. They were initially in the upstairs back room. Now at the time, the one door to this room was completely blocked with crap. So you could not get through that direction. You had to go into the upstairs back hall, which you had to get to through my parents' bedroom, and then backed out to the main upstairs hall, the front hall. My room was right the next door over from my parents. Their house is ancient and weird, but it makes sense the way it was built. um, so the kitties were all the way in the back. And about 2 nights into kitties being in existence, I am woken up at about 2 in the morning. High school student here. Woke up at 2 in the morning by the melodious cries of number 1. For his mother, in her true wisdom, decided she was going to put him in my doorway. The other 4 kitties were still back in the other room, in their pile, on the blanket, safe, warm. Number 1 was now sitting in my doorway on the not carpet part, because weird house, carpeting was not everywhere, it was mostly in the room. This little section in front of the door, no carpet. Put the little number 1 boy right there. He's awake. I'm now awake. Crying cat. So I have to take little number 1, carried him back to his mother, dropped him, placed him gently in with the other kittens. Part of us thinks that Trixie understood that we'd agreed that I was going to get one of the kittens, and so was my sister. And Trixie, possibly in her own cat wisdom, thought, I'm going to pick for you. This is the strongest, healthiest one. You can have him. But we were going to end up getting rid of the boys specifically because we didn't want to have spraying issues, which did happen. We ended up getting rid of both of them in the end, but that's not happened yet because they're still fresh. They're only a couple days old. You don't get rid of 2-day kittens. You have to let them go for a bit before you give them away. So all of the kitties were back in the back room. I go about my day. I have to leave my bedroom, of course, because I'm not stuck there with chains and whips and things. I go out, go to school or whatever. I come back. This time, not 1 kitten in my room, 5 kittens in my room. Trixie has decided that me, one of the ones who is nice to her, is the one who should be guarding her litter. My sister always had the tendency of pick up the kitty and hug it. Kitties don't necessarily like that. The cat knew that I didn't necessarily do that because I knew I was kind of allergic, so I wasn't getting down and dirty with this situation. I would pet her. I would make sure she had food. I would clean her litter box. I would be a good human to her. So she knew I was a safe place. So she'd moved all 5 kittens into my bedroom. So we arranged things, made it so she had a nice spot there, left the kittens there, like, whatever, I guess I have kittens now. This is life. um, and that's where they stayed until they got big enough to go on about their own business. Now, I did end up picking the one I was going to keep, and that was number 3. Number 3 was my kitty, and I named her for what I felt like what the spot on her back looked like. She had a big white spot. It looked like it was kind of a comet or a starburst. So she became Starburst Dawn Benninger. That was her full name. I gave my cat a full name. I'm weird. And if you hadn't noticed, this lovely lady you're looking at now is named Bursty. Where would that name have come from? I named her after my kitten. Bursty was my little lovelet, and I loved her to death. She was wonderful, and she ended up knowing she was mine. Now, not long after they became not kittens, the boys got adopted by someone. My sister's friend at the time took both boys, so they got to stay together. We ended up having to downsize. We were a little bit too much pet for the house. So my sister claimed number 5, and she named her Strawberry. Number 4, and the mother got sent off to a farm. Not killed, we sent them to an actual farm. So they went off and lived happy cat lives, as far as we know. Now, a little bonus here, in all of my artistic nature, when the babies were being born, I did take pictures, and I still have the physical photo, of when Bursty had just plopped. So I am proud to say I still have a picture of my cat and her placenta, and I hold that photo dearly. My little baby and her placenta. Trixie was good and took care of doing the motherly duty with all of the placentals and nommed them all down, which is actually healthy for cats, so that's normal. Don't go ew. That's just something they do. Now, Bursty pretty quickly learned my room was hers. As soon as I would come home, I would open the door. She would go in and sit on the foot of my bed. That was her space. She owned that room. She would guard my door if there were other cats upstairs. They were not allowed near that door. That was her space. A weird thing that happened when she was really little, I'd just eaten a piece of chicken, so I had chicken breath. She was sniffing at my mouth. I opened my mouth. She trusted me enough to stick her stupid little head in my mouth. I'm like, cat, you gonna get eaten if you do this to anything else. But she didn't get bit off. I loved my kitty. I wouldn't eat her head. And I'm like, dumb. But she would guard my room. She knew that was her space. She was definitely aware who her human was. I guarded her. I gave her treats. I made sure the litter box was clean. And I gave her her zone. Berries was weird, but she didn't have quite the reaction of my sister as far as bonding. And unfortunately, both of them ended up dying of feline leukemia not too long into their lifespans. Bursty lived the longest. Berries died shortly before I went to college. Berries died before I went to college. Bursty died while I was at college. I got to see her. I was still coming home every weekend, and I saw her just as she was going, and unfortunately I got to come home one day to have to put a shoebox in the backyard. Loved my kitty, and I will miss her, but she's where this came from, and she will always be remembered. Now, that wasn't the end of our kitty experience. Oh no. In fact, there was other kitties before Bursty finalized her lifespan. My sister, once again, in her beautiful wisdom, adopted another kitty, this time a gray tabby, and brought it into the house. It became an indoor cat immediately. This is fine. Guess what? It met a boy kitty before it came to be our kitty. This time, it hatched 7 younglings. So we had 7 kittens. I think they were all gray tabbies. It was the result, so whatever. Mom's genes were either dominant or daddy's weren't, or were the same. We don't know, because stray cat, adopted. Now, this cat's name was Hecate, because my sister is even more demented at this point in life. And she named 2 of the cats, which we end up keeping, Nix and Renfro. So yeah, if you look up where Hecate and Nix are in mythology, we have Demon Cat and God of Chaos Cat. Oh joy. Now, poor little Nix had some issues when she was young. She was the smallest, and she got pushed away from the milk, ended up getting milk off of Mama. And she was cold one day. We ended up having to nurse her up and get her up going. We assume she's had a little brain damage from this at this point. And the longer she went on in life, the more we were sure of this. Now, we got rid of most of this litter. Just kept the 2, Nix and Renfro. And Hecate, I believe we kept her until she stopped being. She didn't live too long. She had some problems. We used to make cute little jokes about her having a swampy bum because she had some issues back on the backdoor zones there, and we're not entirely sure what was going on. I don't remember anyway because not my problem. Nancy's cat, not mine. So, the 2 kittens lasted a long time. I mean, like, long life kitties. These were keepers. Renfro died first. He just one day got old and stopped being kitty. Such is life. Now, Nixie, on the other hand, the dumb one, the brain damaged kitty, was supposedly my sister's cat. She was claimed it was her cat. It was like my kitty. Renfro was the boy, but Nixie was her kitty. Her kitty. I don't think so. She wasn't my kitty either. No. She was Dad's cat. Because as soon as Dad would get home from work, he'd get on his recliner, put his feet up, and every day, this fat kitty would jump, claws outstretched, right there. Every time. This fat cat landed square on the mark every time. And she kept getting bigger. Then she'd eat her claws in there. I'm like, Dad, you have all the patience, because he would never push her off and never stop her. And she would lay down and she'd sleep on Dad. Because usually Dad would turn on the TV and fall asleep anyway, and now he's a warm spot for the cat to be. My sister ended up moving away several times. That's a long story. But Cat stayed there. And Cat stayed there until she was no longer Cat. This was up till only a few years ago. Nix became not there anymore. And Nix got Dad trained so well. It was hilarious. You'd visit and you'd see, she'd walk up to Dad's recliner with his feet up. Meow. That meant Dad had to put his feet down to make her a little ramp because she was getting old. She would hop on top of the foot of the chair. Meow. That was the signal to tell Dad to put his feet up. And she'd walk back and curl up on his lap. And she'd look up and go, meow. That means, Dad, pet me. And she'd pet her. was just perfectly trained dad. Um, we offered to buy them another cat after that one passed away, but they both said nope. We were both kind of just waiting for her to go. We don't need to care for another kitty. We're good. Uh, so that was my kitties over the years. Now, allergies aside, I was a lot better at home because we tended to have shorter hair kitties, which apparently were better for me. Some of my friends and family I've visited, and I gotta take pills to visit. I love all of you, and I love all your kikis, and I will pet them all. But yeah, depending on how bad it is, some kitties I have more reaction to, no matter how much you vacuum. It's not that, it's just the nature of what their oils, danders, and whatnots they produce. Ta-da! How much I'm gonna be in pain for the next couple of days after visiting, even with the pills. Yay! Um, that being said, I still want to go visit Archer and Dorian and uh, oh, I am bad with cat names. Archer, Dorian, and um, the other one, and Siri and Freya. All of them pets. You know where you are. I miss you. You're all good pets. Um, my sister doesn't have any cats now. She has a bunny, and she loves him. She had another one for a while before that, and he lived till like a year longer than a bunny's supposed to live too. So apparently, she does something good about raising pets. Good work. Well, that is the story of all my kitties of life. I love them. I love most of them. There are probably a few more in there that I'm missing. Oh yeah, Little Yellow. He was an indoor. He was an outdoor only cat, so it's hard to count him. There's probably more Muffins that I don't know about, and I'm not counting everyone else's kitties that I've gotten to spend time with elsewhere. So, well, that's cats. I love them. They don't love me. Well, they love me, but my airways don't love them. Used to be I swell up and sneeze. Now it is I swell up and cough. So that's not as good a development because that takes a lot longer to get out as stuff in the lungs. So yay, catmonia. Well, I hope you all be good little kittens. Miss Bursty loves and appreciates all of you. Hope you behave in the sense that all kitties need to behave and sit on the furniture and knock things off. That's what you do, I guess. Be kits. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I have the Patreon up there. Video earlier listing about what that does. So please feel free to donate there if you'd like. I do give options for what you can get if you want to put money in. But the more important thing is share the video with friends. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. The more of those I get, the better off my channel will be. And you all have a lovely kitty-filled night.